Wasa Iati. This is an introduction in the Tlingit language. That means, how are you? If you'd like to learn that phrase with me, you can say it along with me real slow. Wasa Iati. That means, how are you? Tlingit kenach kayanach ayachat duasauch. Late ka kenach Pattrick Price ayachat duasauch. Yech nachat seti kiksadi ayachat. How are you? My Tlingit name is Pattrick Price, or is Kayanach. My English given name is Pattrick Price. I am from the Raven Frog clan, the Kiksadi of the Tlingit people of Southeast Alaska. This is where the art form Formline comes from. Formline is the main design element seen in totemic art. So if you've seen a totem pole or Native American art from the Pacific Northwest, then you've probably seen Formline art. It first evolved from Southeast Alaska and raced its way as far south as California via trade routes in pre-colonial times. Some original Formline art still exists in the form of totem poles and clan houses and other artworks made by these Pacific coastal peoples. Formline is a feature in indigenous art of the Pacific Northwest coast of North America. That's where we are. It is distinguished by the use of characteristic shapes. They're referred to as ovoids and U shapes and S shapes. Formlines are continually flowing, curving lines. They turn and they swell and then they diminish, all in a prescribed manner. They're used for figure outlines, internal designs, and also in abstract compositions. So thank you for joining me today to learn these Formline shapes. And so we'll be starting with the ovoid, but while I'm talking about the ovoid, take a minute to gather some materials. Blank piece of paper, ruled paper will work just fine as well. And if you got a pencil would be nice with a eraser on the end if you have it. If not, that's fine as well. Also some colors like markers or colored pencils, even crayons if you got them. And something else that might be helpful is either an eraser or a ruler. If you have a ruler, go ahead and gather those materials right now. So we'll be starting with the ovoid. Ovoids are most commonly used as the main design shape in Formline art. They resemble a rectangle with rounded edges. These ovoids will be the main Formline shape when drawing the body, the head, or the eyes, or the tail. Other Formline shapes will later connect with these ovoids to create your Formline design. Let's start by drawing an ovoid, keeping in mind the use of it as our Formline design. We'll be drawing a body shape Formline ovoid, so this means that the ovoid will be taller. So let's draw a square on our drawing space here, about in the middle. That is about the size of the ovoid body that you would like. So let's start by drawing an ovoid, O-V-O-I-D. And to draw this ovoid, we're gonna start up here, and let's draw a square or a rectangle. I'm gonna draw one right here. I'm drawing it nice and light, kind of like a square, just like that. We'll be drawing our ovoid in this space. I'm going to start off by drawing this ovoid by, let's see here, marking it into thirds. We'll make a mark there and a mark there. And each one of these sections is 1/3. So I want to make a line that goes from about 1/3 mark here to about the top middle zone right there. So let's go ahead and add a curved line that goes all the way to that middle point. Just like that. We'll make it nice and dark so you can see it. And you see it is kind of steeper at first and then gets nice and mellow as it goes all the way to the middle. Let's go ahead and do that same thing on the other side. And from the middle all the way down to about 1/3 of the way down here. Great. Nice and dark line so you can see it. Now we're going to go ahead and add a curve on the bottom. So this is going to be a 1/4 round turn. So a 1/4 round line, if you think about a round as a circle, and if you divide that circle in half and then divide that half in half again, each one of these sections is a 1/4. And so a 1/4 round turn is just 1/4 of that, just that space right there. We're going to be making that kind of a line right here. Let's go ahead and do that. And we'll put it right below this other 1/3 mark that we have here. So about there. And just like that. It's about a 1/4 of a circle turn. Great. Once you have that, we'll go ahead and put it on the other side as well. A nice 1/4 round turn, just like that. Great. Now we have the outside edge of our ovoid drawn. So now we're going to draw some parallel lines. Parallel lines are lines that are side by side. They can be side by side tall or side by side laying on their side. Parallel lines can also be curved lines. As long as they're side by side like that, they are parallel. So let's draw a parallel line to the bottom line here. We have this bottom line of our rectangle. Let's draw it right about here. About that much space from the bottom. And we'll draw it parallel to this line here. Just like that. Great. Now we're going to draw a parallel line that is just like this top line here that we drew nice and dark, but it's going to be a little further down, about 1/3 of the way down from the top. We have our 1/3 mark here as we drew before. Let's go ahead and draw this line out there and make it nice and turned just like the top line is. Go ahead and leave some room on the sides just like this that are about the same distance as the bottom parallel lines there. Now that we have drawn our top parallel lines and our bottom parallel lines, let's go ahead and join them. I'm going to add a line from the top parallel line down to the bottom. That's almost in the shape of the letter J, almost like a capital J. But it's backwards here. Let's go like this. So let's connect that top line to the bottom. We'll go along the side and all the way down, leaving about the same amount of space in between the sides as the bottom has down here. And let's go ahead and attach the other side as well. If you're following along with me, you're doing great. And look at that. We have a nice ovoid drawn here. I'm going to take a minute and use the eraser on the bottom of my pencil to erase the corners of our rectangle. And that leaves us with just the ovoid. Wonderful. So now we have a nice ovoid there. So now we'll be connecting U-shapes. U-shapes are the second most used shape in Formline art, and they're most often used connected to the ovoid, like the one we just drew. U-shapes can be rotated and connected to those ovoids to create body formations, such as like arms or legs, noses, beaks, even ears and jawlines. Other formline shapes can then connect to this U shape to further create your formline design. Let's connect a U shape to the ovoid that we just drew. So we can start by adding 3 sides of a rectangle under the ovoid as a guide. So let's draw the 3 sides of this rectangle. And so we'll draw one side coming straight down from the side here of the ovoid, coming straight down to about there. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Feel free to use a ruler if you have a ruler to draw this straight line, but I'm going to just go ahead and really quick sketch it. And there's the bottom. I drew them nice and light because some parts of this rectangle are going to get erased just like we did with the ovoid. So let's use this space that we just drew to create our U shape that is attached to the ovoid. So U shapes kind of have a quarter round turn on each corner, just like the ovoid had up here. So just like we explained before with that quarter round turn, let's go ahead and add one to each side of our rectangle. And that'll connect the side to the bottom line there. There's another nice quarter round turn there. We'll go ahead and add that same thing to the other side. Wonderful. Now that we have those quarter round turns there, let's add a parallel line to the bottom line here. And again, parallel lines are just lines that are side by side. Just to match it up, let's make this parallel line about the same distance as the top section of our ovoid. So about that same space there, like that, right here. So that's about that distance there. I'm going to make it parallel to this bottom line and just about that length there, leaving enough space on the sides for our turns. So now to make this a U shape, we can add a curved line that was much like the curved line that connected the 2 parallel lines on this ovoid. This curved line is going to curve and go all the way up to where our U shape and ovoid meet. So let's go ahead and draw that in right now. I'm going to add a nice turn here, and then as the line goes up to the top, it's going to start to get thinner, narrower, and come to a point all the way to right here. Let's go ahead and draw that in right now. Just like that. Once you have that drawn in, let's go ahead and draw one in on the other side. And then again, it's going to go all the way up to the tippity point where the ovoid and U shape will meet. Here we go. Wonderful. Now we've drawn in a U shape. If you want to take your eraser and erase the bottom corners, feel free to do that right now. And I'm going to do that so we can reveal just the U shape that is now attached to our ovoid. Great. If you're following along, you're doing great. So thank you. So now we'll be connecting an S shape. S shapes are the third most used shape in Formline art, and they are most often connected to ovoids and U shapes to create a Formline design. We can use S shapes in the main design or as fill-in. S shapes can be connected to other main design shapes to create form lines of arms or legs or fins. When used as fill-in or details of Formline, S shapes can depict like fingers and toes and claws and tongues and even ribs. Let's start by connecting an S shape to the Formline design that we're creating here. I'm going to go ahead and connect an S shape to this side. of my design. So what I want to do is draw some parallel lines that are vertical, like this. I'm going to draw some parallel lines that are up here, and let's draw them side by side and about the same length as this ovoid. So about from this space here to, let's say, about this space here. So the inner space of our ovoid, let's make our parallel lines that tall. And I'm just going to go ahead and draw them right now, about this far away from the edge, 2 lines. We'll make them nice distance away from each other. Feel free to use a ruler if you have a ruler, or a straight edge, any kind of straight edge. I'm just going to go ahead and sketch this right in. So now that I have my parallel lines next to my ovoid, I'm going to go ahead and connect them to the ovoid right at the top. Let's start with this parallel line that is further away from the ovoid. Now I'm going to make a nice turn all the way this way, just like that with my line, and connect it all the way to the tippity top of the ovoid here. So let's go ahead and draw that line in, just like this, nice and rounded at first, and then it kind of levels out at the top, and then meets to almost to the middle of the ovoid. There's a nice turn there. Let's go ahead and make another one that's similar to that one. It's going to be a smaller line though, because it's on the inside. And we'll do the top left parallel line, and it's going to go all the way up to where those points meet. Just like that. Wonderful. Now that you've gotten that drawn in there, let's go ahead and add another end to this S shape. I'm going to start on the bottom left line, and I'm going to make a nice curved line that comes to about a point to right here. So if you make a nice turn and then go all the way to that point, just like that. Just sketch it out with me if you take your time drawing this, if you would like. But if you're following along, you're doing great. Now we're going to go ahead and make another turn line from the bottom of this parallel line that meets the tippity point of this one here. Let's draw a nice turn there. There we go. So now we've drawn an ovoid, a U shape that is connected, and we have connected an S shape over here. Now we still have a few minutes here, so now that we have our design all drawn together like this, let's take a few minutes and add some color to it. Traditional colors were black and red and turquoise. Non-traditional colors has been a nice way that the art form has changed over the years, and really like using other different colors. So let's use different colors today. I'm going to go ahead and use markers. Feel free to use colored pencils or crayons, even if you want. Take your time coloring this in. I'm just going to color it in real fast, just so you get the idea. Use nice turn there, come along the side of our ovoid. Let's start filling in the ovoid first. And sometimes I like to just color in from the sides of the piece that I'm coloring in first, kind of like this. And then I'll scribble in the middle. Feel free to color in any way that you would like and use any colors that you would like as well. Keep in mind those traditional colors are fun to use as well, those black and red, turquoise. And you'll notice, since I'm using a marker, that I don't keep the marker in one spot on the paper for too long, because that'll make it really kind of bleed into the paper, even a really dark mark. You want the color to be nice and even. So let's keep that marker moving fairly quick across the page. Just like that. Great. I just colored in Ovoid with a light blue. What color should we use here? How about an orange? I like orange. And we'll color in the U shape that is connected to the ovoid with orange. I'm just going to do a quick outline with the color, so I'll have a space to scribble my colors into in between this outline. And feel free to use any colors that you'd like. I'm using orange right now. And I'm going to just color this in real fast, just so you have a good idea of what's going on here. Nice, quick movement with the marker. If you are using colored pencils, try not to push too hard, and you'll get that color nice and even. You can also just scribble it on in, or you can work from one side to the other, or the top to the bottom. Any way you color it in is just fine. Now, let's see here. Let's use a green for the S shape. Great. This is a nice little green here. Let's go right along the outside edge of this S shape with green. Again, I like to just color along the outside edge. That way I have a space to color in between. And we can do it nice and quick. You don't want to leave that marker too long because it'll get different colors and blotch up. So we'll go nice and quick with our marker. And if you're using colored pencil, you go use real light. You don't want to push on that too hard, and we'll get that color nice and even on your page. All right, now we've added some color to our design. This is a wonderful Formline design here, and you could also call it an abstract composition. Go ahead and use any colors you want on that, and take your time filling it in. This has been so fun today to do this. I love coloring in my designs. So yeah, let's take a minute here and stretch and rest our eyes after all that coloring and looking at the paper and looking away. Let's take a minute and straighten our back, and take some breaths, and reach up over your head. Let's reach up for like 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to take nice long breaths as we do this little stretch and rest our eyes. You can close your eyes for a couple seconds here. We'll close our eyes and think about what we just drew. And then when you feel like it, you can open your eyes back up and try to focus on something further away in the room. Then maybe focus your eyes on something closer up. Now, let's take our hands and do a little stretch for our hands here. We can close your hands and open them up as wide as you can. We'll close them again, open them up nice and wide again. Really stretches those hands out. Helps your eyes come back. So in this lesson, we created our own Formline design by connecting the basic Formline shapes, the ovoid, the U shape, and the S shape. We drew an ovoid as our main design, and then we added the U shape to the bottom of it. We connected an S shape to create a unique piece of art that is in the Formline style. Practice drawing these basic Formline shapes some more, and try drawing up some variations of your own. By rotating these shapes around and connecting them in different ways, you'll be taking the most important steps of being a Formline artist. And by joining me today in this lesson, we are keeping this art form alive. So thank you. And in the Tlingit language, we say, Gunesh Chish Tlian. That means thank you very much. If you'd like to learn that phrase with me, we can say it together, nice and slow. Gunesh Chish Tlian. Thank you very much. You have a wonderful day.